Hello there guys, and welcome back to another episode of How to Feed the Beast in Minecraft. In the last video I showed you guys how to make the alloy furnace from the Redpower 2 mod, and also at the end of the video I showed you how to make the slightly more advanced Bluelectric alloy furnace. So what we're going to do in today's video is find a way to power the Bluelectric alloy furnace. This means we're going to have to build two new items. First of all, the Bluelectric solar panel, which differs from the one we did in a previous video, which was for industrial craft. And we also need to build a battery box, which again is different from the bat box that we built for the industrial craft 3 energy. So let's head on over to the workshop and find out how we make them. Now, one of the very first things we're going to need to do, if you haven't made one already, is to make a new tool. And you're going to need a diamond handsaw. You make that by placing 3 sticks along the top of a crafting table, 2 iron ingots in the middle and middle right slots, and then 2 diamonds in the bottom middle and bottom right slots. And that will give you a diamond handsaw, which we're going to be using shortly. We also need to make some cables to connect our solar panels to the battery box and then to the electric furnace, which is the one here on the left. And what we need for that is blue alloy ingots, which we learned how to make on the last video. And then we need to put 3 of those down the middle of a crafting table with wool either side. Any coloured wool will work, and that will give you blue alloy wire. Now, blue alloy wire isn't the best type of wire because it does lose power over longer distances, but we're not going long distances, so that doesn't really matter. So the next step, back over to our alloy furnace, which is still coal powered, and what you want to do is you want to put in 8 sand and 8 coal in the materials part and wait for that to smelt up. There we go, and that gives us a silicon boule. We need to take that and back to the crafting table, or you can do this in your inventory, put it in the crafting table next to the diamond handsaw, and that will give you 16 silicon wafers. Now the saw will take some durability damage because it is a tool, but you will get to keep it and use it again. So we now have 16 silicon wafers. So the next thing you're going to have to do is back over to the alloy furnace. Now you're going to need 4 nickelite for every silicon wafer. So I think we're only going to need 8 of these for starters. So we'll put 8 silicon wafers in, 32 nickelite, and we will leave those to smelt up. And as you can see, it has now started to produce blue doped wafers. So let's leave that to finish smelting. And there you go, we now have 8 blue doped wafers. So let's take those. So once you have your blue doped wafers, back over to the crafting table, place them around the edge of the crafting area, and then in the centre you want 1 blue alloy ingot, and that will give you a solar panel. Now you're probably going to need more than 1, I've got 5, which should be enough. Okay, now that we have our solar panels, we need to make our battery box. Now the battery box is fairly easy to make, but in order to make it we're going to need 4 Bluetricity batteries, and they're quite easy to put together. You're going to need nickelite down either side of the crafting table, with a copper ingot in the top and bottom, and a tin ingot in the centre, and that will give you a Bluetricity battery. We're going to need a total of 4 of those. And we have 3 Bluetricity batteries, which don't stack unfortunately. So back in the crafting table, you're going to need wooden planks in the top middle, BT batteries in the top left and top right, and the middle left and middle right, a blue alloy ingot in the bottom middle, and then iron ingots in the rest of the spaces, and that will give us our battery box. So we now have our battery box, we have our solar panels, and we have our blue alloy wire. Let's head on outside and connect them to the back of the furnace. If we just take a quick look at the furnace, we can see it's not receiving any power in any way. So let us pop outside. Now, unlike the battery box in industrial craft, this one doesn't have any specific inputs or outputs, so you can connect the cables up directly in whichever direction you want. What I'm going to do is put the battery box in the wall so that it is directly behind the alloy furnace, and then that keeps wiring to a minimum. Then what I'm going to do is take my 5 solar panels and lay them out in this arrangement, and that means I can use just 2 pieces of cable and connect all 5 solar panels to the back of the battery box. Now, if we have a look at the battery box, we can see it is starting to get some power, Not very much. It does take a little bit of time for the sun to start working. They're a little bit shady, but there is plenty of light here, and it's about midday. And we are slowly and steadily gaining power. Now the power level is going up, which means it's starting to receive more power from the solar panels, but at the moment it isn't actually storing anything, and the reason for that probably is because it's connected directly to the furnace. Yep, there we go. You can actually see there's power coming into the furnace already. So it may take a while for it to charge up, but the idea is once the battery box is full, it should be enough to keep the furnace going even during the night or bad weather. Well, the sun's nice and high in the sky. Let's have a look and see how we're doing. Well, we're getting a good amount of power going into the battery box, but it still hasn't started to store. Oh, I think it has actually, because the input arrow has just lit. Now what you've also got, the interface here, the bar on the left is the power that is coming in, so this is the power being generated by the solar panels, so it's nearly at maximum capacity. Then you have the internal battery, so this is how much power is stored in the battery box, and then you have an input and an output slot for Bluetricity batteries, because you can put an empty battery in and fill it, or you can put a full battery in and dump it back into the battery box. So that's starting to charge. While the battery box is starting to charge, we'll go back inside and have a look at our furnace. Okay, let's have a look at the furnace. And there we go, we have a full internal battery, and we've still got a good source of power coming in from the bat box outside. So we no longer require our old coal-powered furnace, we can get rid of that. In a future video, I'm going to show you guys how to make thermopiles, which is a way of generating blue electric from water and lava, and we can also make some wooden windmills and wooden water mills, which work the same way as the windmills and water mills in Industrial Craft, but generate blue electric instead. So one final look at the battery box. It's being quite slow, but it is still charging. So there we go, we have our blue electric solar panels, we have our blue electric battery box, and we can now power our blue electric alloy furnace. There is one other little thing that's worth mentioning with the battery box. If you actually look on the side, and again I'm using the Sphax texture pack, but it does work with the default as well, you can actually see a little battery indicator level in the middle. So you don't actually have to right click on the interface to see how much power is in there, you can just look at the block. So guys, thanks again for watching. We've now broken a little further into the Redpower 2 mod. I hope as always you found this video informative and entertaining, and if you have, please like, share and subscribe, because it really helps the channel to grow. And if you've got any ideas for things you'd like to see in future videos, if there's a specific machine, item or mod that you'd like to see me build and demonstrate, either send me a message or leave it in the comments below. As I've said before, I do keep a list of all the things you guys asked me to cover, but I'm trying to go through them all in a fairly logical order, and of course there's an awful lot to cover in Feed the Beast Ultimate, and it might take a while for me to get around to your suggestion. So if you have sent me a suggestion and I haven't covered it yet, don't worry, it is on the list, and it'll just take me a little bit of time to get to it, but I will get to it, I promise. So until next time, I've been UnstableVoltage, and this has been How to Feed the Beast in Minecraft, and I'll see you on the next video. So goodbye for now.